Hello and welcome. Today, we're going on a tour of this incredible factory that's inside every single one of us. It's the place that turns the food you eat into the fuel you need to live, to learn, and, of course, to play. So, picture this. You're eating a delicious slice of pizza. It tastes amazing, right? But have you ever stopped to think about what happens the second you swallow? Well, an absolutely incredible journey begins, and we're going to follow that piece of pizza from the very first bite all the way to the end. Okay, so what are the main jobs of this factory? Well, it's pretty simple. First, it acts like a demolition crew, breaking down food into tiny little pieces. Second, it's the sorting department. It absorbs all the good stuff, the nutrients, to give you energy. And finally, it's the cleanup crew, getting rid of whatever is left over. To get its job done, our factory uses two main tools. First up is mechanical digestion. You can just think of this as the smashing and crushing part, like your teeth chewing food into a mush. The second tool is chemical digestion. This is more like using special liquids, or juices called enzymes, to dissolve the food into even smaller bits. Every journey has to start somewhere. For our pizza, that journey kicks off in what we can call the intake department of our factory. That's your mouth, and the tube that the food travels down, which is called the esophagus. Now here's a cool little mythbuster for you. You might think your spit, or saliva, is some kind of acid, but it's not. It actually has a special juice in it, an enzyme called amylase. And amylase starts the chemical digestion of carbohydrates. The stuff in bread and pasta. So it gets to work on that pizza crust right away. So how exactly does the food get from your mouth down to your stomach? It's through this amazing process called peristalsis. It's basically a series of really strong wave-like muscle squeezes that push the food down the esophagus. And get this, these waves are so powerful, they could get food to your stomach even if you were eating upside down. Next stop on our tour is the stomach. You can think of this as the factory's super powerful cement mixer. The food doesn't just sit there. The strong walls of the stomach squeeze and churn, mixing everything together into this thick, creamy paste called chyme. So for about the next 2 to 4 hours, our pizza is just going to hang out in the stomach. In here, it gets mixed with some powerful acid and another special enzyme. See, if the enzyme in our saliva works on carbs, this one's job is to attack the proteins, so it goes right to work on the cheese and pepperoni from our pizza. Okay, after the stomach, that chyme moves into the most important part of the factory floor, the small intestine. This is where the real magic happens. This is where our body actually gets its fuel. Now, the small intestine, it doesn't work alone. It gets help from some really important friends. First, the pancreas sends in more enzymes to finish breaking everything down. It also adds something called bicarbonate, which is kind of like baking soda. It neutralizes that strong stomach acid. At the same time, the liver makes a green juice called bile. And the gallbladder? It just stores that bile and releases it to break up all the fats, like the oil from the cheese on our pizza, into tiny little droplets. So how does the small intestine actually absorb all that good stuff? Well, its inside wall is amazing. It's covered in millions of these tiny, finger-like folds called villi. I want you to think of them like a carpet made of tiny sponges. This creates a huge surface area for soaking up all the valuable nutrients and passing them right into our blood. Here's something that's really important to remember. The small intestine is not an acidic place. Actually, it's the complete opposite. It's alkaline. That bicarbonate we talked about from the pancreas, it completely neutralizes the stomach acid. And this is so important because it creates the perfect environment for the next set of enzymes to do their job. Okay, so our factory has taken all the fuel it can possibly get from that pizza. But what about all the leftovers? Let's head over to the cleanup department and see how the body deals with waste. So anything the body can't use moves on into the large intestine. Its main job is to be the factory's water recycling plant and trash compactor. It soaks up most of the leftover water from that soupy mix, and then it compacts what's left into solid waste. But wait, the large intestine has another, really surprising job. It's home to trillions of tiny, helpful bacteria. You can think of them as tiny little workers living in the factory. They're actually really good for us, and they help produce important vitamins our body needs, like vitamin K. All right, so now that we've seen exactly how the factory works, how can we help it run smoothly every single day? Well, the final part of our tour is all about the simple things you can do to keep your digestive system healthy and happy. So, how can you be a good factory manager? It's actually pretty easy. Drinking lots of water helps everything stay fluid and move along the conveyor belt. Chewing your food really well does a lot of that smashing work up front, so your stomach doesn't have to work quite as hard. Fiber, from things like fruits and veggies, acts like a scrub brush for your intestines, keeping them clean. And just moving your body helps those muscle squeezes, that peristalsis, do its job a lot better. Your digestive factory, it works around the clock, day and night, to power your entire life. It turns food into energy for running, for thinking, and even for sleeping. So the only real question left is, what good fuel are you going to choose to give your factory today?